got him number one. Another poll got Florida number one. They bought all the players. And the guy from Vitamin Water.
All right. Three Guys, Many Games, end of summer edition. Welcome back. I'm Steve Sombrato. I'm with my brother Vincent Sombrato, Mr. Chaminade Rob Smalley, and today we've brought back our very special friend from Harvard and Levittown, Mr. Gerry Byrne. Let's have a little shout out to Gerry. Yeah, baby.
You guys had me waiting in the green room, which was full of Pabst Blue Ribbon and chicken cutlet sandwiches. I appreciate that.
That's right. That's right. So how we doing this morning, Gerry? We're great. It's great to have you back. Like we have to make it it sort of sets up the year, when we grab you at the end of the summer. We got to get a lot of insights, of what's going on with you, with summer lacrosse. I bet you didn't know this. You know this history. Tonight, I think, are the Caniac Summer League Championships tonight.
Wow. I was on that field last November for one of the Igloo events, and the interesting thing is that fence has gotten taller and taller. Yeah. In the 1970s, it was about 10 feet. When we started playing, they made it 20 feet. It was like trying to get out. It was like Escape from New York, trying to get over that fence,
right?
Because they didn't want us swimming in there after the summer league game. And
the pool.
But it was a great, great summer. It's obviously we go from the end of May through last week of traveling around watching high school kids play, and so now it's getting ready for September 1st and the return of our players. So it's kind of a preparation. It's not quiet. You don't have to be in the office as much, but you're getting ready for September 1st and the return of your players.
So what's the routine? It's the grind from once the season's over. You're pretty much hitting a lot of those tournaments. So is that like a coach's season in itself?
Yeah, no, you got to do some training. You got to learn how to hydrate. You got to learn how to stretch the back in the chairs on the sideline. You got to know where all the best delis are in the different cities and towns and fields that you go to. You got to develop your crew of guys that you want to kind of watch games with, because it can get kind of redundant. So you have to sit with people who can riff, who can movie quote, who can make you chuckle, who can be observational in the sense they're writing notes, but also can make a good joke. So there's a training and it's almost like a marathon that you're doing this for almost 2 months straight. So it's not hard. It's hard on the body and the mind.
Do you get a sense from the kids? Because obviously I've been to some of these events, and you see these things like and playing in events that we play in and have played in. A lot of times you can always say the best lacrosse kids could put out does not come in your fourth and fifth game in 100 degrees. Like how do you judge? How do you judge kids when it's probably not the best they can actually play because of the grind that it is, these tournaments, of how they are?
I think there's I consider myself somewhat empathetic around that. Like if I'm tired of being there,
right?
If I'm hot and sweaty and covered in sunblock and thinking about the chicken cutlet classic sandwich I want to go get. So if my brain is wandering and my attention is struggling, I'm not going to judge too harshly a guy who was really good the first 2 games I saw that day and maybe struggled in the third day. I'm not going to penalize him. But conversely, a guy who has been able to maintain it, or maybe who wasn't great in the first 2 games but killed it in the third game, and that shows a resilience and a grit that you want to recognize for sure. But I don't penalize the guy who's tired in his 4th game of the day. I think there's a mythology or a guys kind of beating this drum of, I want to see the guy diving for the ball in the All-Star game, which is his 5th game of the weekend. Yeah, you're going to recognize that and you're going to give that guy some credit. But conversely, I don't penalize or punish a guy who could be running out of gas. That's just human. And if my feet are hot just from sitting there, I can only imagine how hot they are from playing in their fourth, fifth, sixth game of the day.
Well, Vinny always.
Well, I want to ask you, Gerry, like, where's your focus in terms of, I mean, I know, there's so many tournaments throughout the summer, but there's also so many different age groups. Do you target a specific age group that you'd rather spend your time with right now, considering maybe the older guys already committed or whatever?
Yeah, well, we came into the summer with a couple of places left in our 26 team. So that was a really, you got 10 or 15 guys that you're watching. Often those events will have 2 or 3 different age groups, so you're able to go with multiple assistants and say, and the key thing is that you just don't show up to an event and get the schedule and you're like, oh, I really want to see Vinny play, but Steven's on this other field. You're not figuring it out on the fly. Like the day before, a couple of days before, you're laying out your schedule. You're confirming with the club or the high school coach that the players that you want to see are actually going to be there, because they sometimes submit a roster and guys don't show up. That happens. And so you got to go with a real discipline around what the choreography of your day is going to be. So we came into the summer trying to look at a couple of 26s to finish off our class. The focus was really on the 27s. Probably 75% of our focus was on that. A 20% focus on the sixes, where we had some opportunities left. And then as we got toward later in the summer, we started watching some 28s because we have prospect camps and we want to have a sense of guys that we'd like to see at the camp or that the coaches may recommend to us. So does that answer your question? It kind of breaks out our day.
Yeah. And I just, I wonder, like, geographically, I mean, look, where you are up at Harvard, you're in Massachusetts, you're in a hotbed, I would consider that a hotbed. You have multiple travel teams up there that are very strong, and you could almost pick a team or make a team just from what you got right in your backyard, considering they have the grades for Harvard and everything else,
Yeah.
But,
so we'll go around. We're not like, I was in Texas, I was in Florida, I was in California, was in the Mid Atlantic, of course. So you try to. One of the things that we've tried to do over the last couple of years was to not continuing to see the same teams 5 or 6 times, is because whenever, like, every season we're playing against a team and we're like, who is that kid? What club team did that kid play for? What high school was that kid from? And it's always some maybe less well-known group.
Right.
So I think the development of the NLF and the Alliance and some of these other club groups that are doing some of their own events allows you to kind of diversify your schedule so you don't get burnt out, because you don't want to get to the point where you can look at a guy and already know who he is. It's that can screw with your objectivity. Oh, I liked him, which means I'm probably going to continue to like him. So you don't want to get to the point where you can just look at a guy's helmet or look at his body shape and you're like, oh, of course, that's Joe Smith. He plays on this club team. And now you're making all these presumptions about him. But we try to diversify our eyeballs so we don't get burnt out watching the same guys over and over.
What was your summer league team? What teams did you play on when you were young?
There was no travel team. I didn't play to really late in high school, but when I started playing, we played, at Candiag. Our team was Brothers Pub on Hempstead Turnpike. Shout out Levittown.
Oh my God!
Yeah, Brothers
Pub.
Smalley, you ever there? You ever was at Brothers Pub?
Oh, I lived there. I used to jump off the building. How do you think I'm so nuts? What, are you kidding me? That was a skit.
They used to
Oldman Dykeman, the whole Dykeman family bartended there. He knows. It's a father, the son.
That's true.
He had two daughters. One married Bobby from Vincent's. She's a Dykeman. They were twins. I think he remembers. Yeah,
he's a Dykeman.
Bobby Marisi from Vincent's. Yeah, one of the Dykeman sisters.
Wow.
They were the best looking family I ever saw in my life. From the father all the way down to the 2 twin daughters, they were drop dead gorgeous. They were the best looking family ever. They all bartended, everybody. The place would close at 4. Then if you got in the back door, you were in happy hour, so you were in there till 6 or 7.
They used to have the 2-for-1 special, a beer and a punch.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So you had the pizza place next to it,
Dominico's, yep.
or Domenico's, depending on how you pronounce it.
He's going for the fight.
And then next to it was Dortoni Bakery.
Yeah, they're still there.
The only reason I remember Dortoni is that whenever my dad went to Mass, which was not regular, we always stopped at Dortoni. So if my dad was going to Mass, we would be stopping at Dortoni on the way and go right into the Three Stooges and the Little Rascals at home. So we played for Brothers Pub in the Candy Egg League, and then Spit Uncle Sam's
Oh
for the
God!
Freeport
Wow.
League. So that part of Hempstead Turnpike was like the cultural district. You had Dortoni's, Domenico's, Schmitty's, the Lemon Tree, where Minnie probably got his hair done, Lemon Tree, St. Bernard's or church, Spit and Uncle Sam's, and then ended with the OTB by Wantor Parkway. So that's the cultural district right there.
That was the car.
And how this young man made it to Chaminade to where he is today is almost off the charts. That's why he's the golden child, this kid. We love him. There's nothing not to like about this kid.
You might be the two most impressive guys out of Levittown, Smalls. You and Gerry.
Hold on. He took a nice path, religious path all the way up the ladder. I took a little curveball, came back, and thank God for my parents, though, I have to say. Well, anyway, it's a Chaminade thing. We're all related. He went there, you went there, his son goes there, my dad went there, so that's why I like to wear the hat. Ever since I wear the hat, I think of my dad. I lost him like 6 years ago, and he knows what family was. They meant everything to us, our family. We didn't have much growing up, but we had each other. We had a small town that grinded. And him, look where he is today at Harvard. He grinded his whole life, and he still grinded to get into a Final Four. And I think he will. In the next year or two, he'll be in the Final Four. Almost guarantee that.
From Smalley's lips to God's ears.
He will,
right
though.
there.
You put your time in, bro. I see it.
Jerry, if you could manage to get in the Final Four next year or the year after,
He's tapping the door.
I guarantee you, there's going to be Smalley's going to put on a show at that
it.
Final Four.
Forget it. That'll cost me. Vinny, what will that cost me? 150. I'll go all out. I'll go all out for that act. Oh, Birdie, take it home, man. He'll have guys from Levittown, from Brothers Pub. I'm not kidding you. 40, 50 years ago, I'll be at that game. Yeah, that'll be something.
Well, speaking of that, let's go back to that a little bit. I mean, obviously, you had a tremendous year. We expected you to have a very good year, but I even think it was better than, at least in my mind, what I expected. Right away, you could see. The first thing I thought about when I watched your team play early in the year, one of the games that was on TV, I was like, these are some thick body guys. These guys are like strong. Like they didn't look super, super fast, but they didn't look like you could knock them off their feet so easy. And I'm like, these guys are tough, and
they look pretty fast to me. I don't know. They look fast.
Was that the toughest team you ever had?
We I think, Neil Hutchinson, who's our offensive coordinator and drives our recruiting, is just done a good job of finding, really good guys. Like everybody can see the top 10 or 15 guys are really obvious every year.
Yeah.
And maybe we're going to get one or two of those guys, and ACCs are going to get 2 or 3, and some of the other teams in our league are going to get 2 or 3 or 1 or 2. But I think being successful in our sport now is the guys who are less obvious, the guys who, maybe they didn't play that much because they had an injury, or they played on a really good high school or club team and they were the 5th best midi on the team, but they're super hungry and super driven. That, winning in recruiting is developing guys, but it's also identifying some of these guys who might be in the second group. That's where the win is. It's like if you could predict your prom date when you were in 7th grade, like, oh man, she's going to be really smart and fun and pretty and all those things, or it's hard to do that. And it's hard for us to try to predict who.
How much of that is really less about where they are with their lacrosse abilities and maybe more about what kind of people they are and what kind of families they come from, where ultimately you don't know exactly where a guy can fit, but you're like, this guy, we're going to get something out of this guy because of just the type of person he is.
Yes. No, listen, I think the skill is, they're where they are right now, everybody can see. What you don't know, which is your point, is where they're going to get to. And you don't know some of the backstory. You don't know about injuries, or they came to the sport late, or they're they were focused on hockey or basketball and now they're coming to the sport. You're trying to determine their work ethic and their drive and what fuels them and what's their motivation, and all that stuff is what we're trying to do right now in August in our conversations with coaches. There's certain things that we can do and certain things we can't do from an NCAA standpoint, but asking questions about guys' drive and hunger and work ethic and their ability to overcome disappointment or injury and things like that. Because you're right, the more you understand that, the more you can not be predictive, but have a sense of the type of teammate and athlete and their hunger to be really good. And what goes against that is often the speed of recruiting the first couple of weeks of September, is that if you haven't been doing that work and you dive on somebody really quickly, that's where mistakes are made. That's why guys transfer, they quit, or whatever they do. But the more data you can collect, and not more data watching more games, that's not it. We've watched a lot of games. It's really trying to paint this picture of, like, what drives this guy? What does he want to be as a player? What does he want to be as a person? Where is he trying to get to professionally? And so you're right. Success, I think, is totally correlated to doing that part really well.
Well, your team last year showed a lot of grit. You could see that in a very, very tough Ivy League, with obviously, they ended up the champs. Cornell ended up taking the championship from the Ivy League, but your team was right there. I mean, obviously that game seemed to be in control. A few of those penalties at the end, like anything else, can derail something.
You guys have all played in the Dome and been in the Dome. There's an element of the it's really hard to win there.
It is.
And yeah, we're up whatever 11-6 with 8 minutes to go.
I was dying.
And so sometimes one little play, either it kind of gave them life, and
you had it. You had the game.
Yeah, and listen, the same thing happened in the regular season game. We were in control at the end, and they came back and scored the last. We got a 2-minute penalty in the last 2 minutes of in the Dome up there. The Dome ghosts came back to haunt. So, listen, we didn't do the things that we needed to do to secure that game.
Gerry, I died when that happened. I was dying. I know you must have, as a coach. That's why I always say coaching those games is not easy. You get so nervous, and even the pro coaches, I watch it, you got to be dying inside. I don't even know if I could coach. Coaching these kids up 5 goals, you're thinking you're going to win. These kids in their minds, they get that mindset thinking they got to play the minutes. The minutes get longer as you go.
We've honestly, and as much as the guys have played on this right now, we've been on the right side of those and we've been on the wrong side of those. Sometimes that just happens. That's what life is in this game. You're going to have situations. You hope to try to, if things start to go bad in a game, but it happens. Listen, there's games that we thought we for surely were going to win, and you end up not winning, and you go, how'd that happen? And the other side of it is you win some of those. You can see that the team is built. You're going to lose some stars. I'm sure you got good classes coming in, and it becomes, for the guys that are still there, fuel to say, okay, let's correct some of these things so that can never happen again.
No doubt. Listen, we stayed on the field after, and I told the guys, this is not going to be the worst day of your life. You're a student athlete at Harvard. For the guys who are graduating, this is a tough way to end, but they did amazing work. All those guys were guys that we recruited, you know,
Exactly.
in our
That's
first class, and their their path. We're in the process of posting where the jobs and the career starts of all of our guys, and it's crazy impressive, And for the guys that are coming back, hate is not going to fuel your progress because hate kind of burns really hot and then it flames out.
yeah,
Like
well,
you have to love the process of getting better. You have to love the fact that you're a student athlete at Harvard. You got to love your teammates. You got to embrace the fact that those challenges, as you were alluding to, will come your way, and you develop these calluses so that the next time it happens, you're that much more prepared and will not necessarily play better, but be more poised in those moments. And so that was the message on the field after that game because we had a Final Four capable team. I'm convinced, But right after that, after I talked to the team, I looked to my right, and there's Paul Gate in his wheelchair, who was my teammate in on the Cannons and the MLL. I played with him on a championship team in the NLL, and I just like I don't know. Like I was super sad. My wife and family were at the game, and I hadn't seen him since his injury. I hadn't talked to him since his injury, and I just went down there. I spent like I don't know 35 minutes with him. I'm not. I'm saying that is because I like as that was more for me as like a reminder of the fragility of life and how like the loss is terrible, but I got great players and great kids who are super appreciative of being at Harvard, and that loss is going to suck, and it's going to always suck in my mind. It's going to drive us to try to do better this year. But then to go and talk to Paul and hearing of his struggles, and not just the struggles of the injury, but everything that's come after that, and he's had like almost 10 surgeries since
Yeah.
his fall. And so I just like, I don't know. That wouldn't be something I would naturally do. I would probably go and walk off and pout and be pissed and want to punch somebody and deal with the loss that way. But you have to present to your team that it's going to be okay and we're going to get better. And then something about looking at Paul in that moment was just, I don't know. It was great talking to him.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Paul,
It made me
Paul's
feel
a,
better in a weird way.
yeah,
perspective.
Listen, Paul's a warrior, and I think he's, a great example of overcoming for a lot of people. I think he's been setting a great example the way he's handled everything that he has gone through. He's dealt a really tough hand, but one thing's for sure, he don't want anybody feeling sorry for him. He don't want that kind of thing. He moves on and he just keeps going, boy, and it tells you why he and his brother, they were so successful in not only playing lacrosse, but they're successful in life in general because they have that inner strength, and it's hard to teach kids inner strength. It's either something that comes in the package, you're kind of born with it, or maybe the people you're around as you're growing up, or the different circumstances you're in growing up that forge guys. So a loss is a loss. I mean, nobody like hated losing more than me. I mean, but I used to keep things in perspective. Ultimately, it is a game and you want to win, but there's going to be a winner, there's going to be a loser, and you're going to feel that one that got away, you know, and you take lessons from it. You do all the recruiting, you do all the X's and O's, and then you have a play that happens that everybody watches and says, "What did that kid do? It's so stupid. You did this, you do." But he's in the moment and he's really trying and he's giving all his effort, and maybe makes a bad decision in what is basically 2 seconds, And that's why I think as coaches, there's like almost a daily reminder that the little things like that are going to make the difference in a game. That I think there's so much training with shooting and this, and you got to come from here and at this angle and bring your hands from here and there. But most of it is right here. There's guys who know how to win in the moment, and there's guys who don't, and that's a hard thing to teach. But I think with repetition and practice and talking about, listen, we're up 5. We got 6 minutes to go. We have a possession. You look like you could get a shot off, but maybe it's better that you hold. Like, these are the things that guys have to understand. And I think that's what makes real players.
No doubt, no doubt. And losing sucks. Progress, you can't ignore the progress that our program has made. We got really hungry, and I think more importantly, really self-aware, and guys who have an amazing gratitude for being here, and that as they pursue being a great player, and as they pursue being a great teammate, they also want to be great students and great members of the community here at Harvard. And so that when they leave, listen, one team gets to wear the hat with the tag, and we want to be that team. That's clearly one of our goals, but not at the price of these other goals: great person, great teammate, being prepared to start your life when you leave here.
It's one
And
game. It doesn't define you.
no doubt.
That's no doubt about it.
And you play more games. Like, I think it's pretty cool seeing Sam King having the success in the PLL. Listen, I can't remember the last Harvard guys that were playing pro lacrosse, really. I'd have to really think hard. But seeing him have success, I think that's really nice. I think that's nice for your program. Do you get excited to see now that season, and obviously losing him and having to replace that is a tough thing, but do you see some of the younger guys excited to emerge to start to fill those leadership roles within your team?
No doubt. Listen, the first part of your comment was, the PLL was just here at Harvard 2 weekends ago. And so Sam and Ray Dirth both played. They played against each other, which was really cool. So getting to have them back on a field that they practiced and played on was really cool. And it was a great crowd. And the PLL does an amazing job at these events. But relative to, the guys coming back, listen, you have to have that mindset within an hour after that last game ends. And I was already communicating, created new text groups and new email groups of just the guys coming back. And so that messaging and that presentation to them started almost immediately. And I don't like to think about kind of replacing guys. I like to, because that's a hard thing to do, particularly with an iconic kid like Sam, is because that could be a fool's errand. Like, you need to become the best you. Teddy Malone needs to become a great Teddy Malone. Jack Spidell, who's leading the U20 World Championships in scoring right now, is coming back as a rising junior. He needs to be a great Jack Spidell. Jared Masnick, who's leading the Canadians and the Canadian U20 in scoring, is coming back from an injury. So we're expecting a lot from him. Like, not really say, hey, you need to replace Sam, more like almost like Billy Bean's kind of mindset around the A's when they lost Johnny Damon and all these guys, is that you need to replace those guys in the aggregate. You're going to get some other guys who are going to step up. Some incoming freshmen are going to do stuff. The leap from freshman to sophomore and sophomore to junior is usually pretty significant for your guys that are coming back. So you do it in the aggregate. All those guys are going to find ways to be really good versions of them, and the aggregate of all their improvement will.
Gerry, what's your most improvement though? It is your defense going into this year that you're trying to bolster up mostly.
We need to get better at facing off, as everybody
You brought a
knows.
face-off guy in as a freshman, or
We have a freshman coming in from Colorado, from Valor Christian High School in Colorado. So, we need to get better there. We need to get better at the wings, but we overcame some of our possession disadvantages with being a really good riding team and being super efficient on offense and being really causing a lot of turnovers on defense. So you can kind of close that statistical gap if you do some of those other things well.
Right. Yeah, like you said, in the aggregate, of course, you play to your strengths and you try to stay away from your weaknesses and improve your weaknesses. And if you do that, you got it licked. Your team will get stronger and stronger.
Do you think,
No doubt.
Gerry? Do you? And I always say this a lot of the times when we talk to various people. I always bring this up because my first year playing pro indoor, you were on the team. We were
Yep.
teammates with the Saints,
Yep.
and for me personally, I always say how much as an overall player playing the years of indoor and having not only the American coaches who were just learning the box game as well, but then we had some Canadian coaches I had coach me and influence me at various times. But it box helped me become a much better player than I would have been if I hadn't played box. I really feel like box is something that you have to have some complement of. I think it just makes you a much better player overall.
No, I agree, and we don't tend to do, the rules in our league are a little bit different, and the amount of time that we can do stuff in the fall, but we do elements of that stuff. Neil Hutchinson, who's our offensive coordinator, will do some space constrained stuff and some small group drills that create decision making for the defense and tight window passing and throwbacks and seam passes and lever passes and things like that. So you don't have to necessarily do like traditional box. You can manufacture that in with space constraints or the types of drills that you're doing that create some limitations for the offense. And it may be it probably creates more success for the defense, but really as much as teaching skill, it also exposes the fact that some guys may never be great at it. And so you don't, when you bring that midfield line out or you have a certain configuration of guys, maybe doing that type of offense doesn't fit your personnel versus a more top down approach would be like, hey, we're doing this whether you can do it or not. So I think, for us and our skill and depth and where we are as developing our program in the 5 years that I've been here, we lost 2 seasons to COVID, and so we have to be really really mindful and thoughtful of the talent that we bring in, how we structure practice, and the things that we integrate. So I kind of veered off on your comment, but I understand the point that you're making.
Yeah, I mean, I think the obviously not in America in the United States, it's not. There are places that do have rinks to play indoor, but it's not, there are not a lot of them. So hearing the idea that coaches are being creative to try to do exactly what you're saying, create the dimensional space decision making is what really box brings. It quickens your mind to especially I think for offense, even more. I think it's more of for me, it was more offensively. I think it helps defensively too. But then Smalley, he's got the other side of that. He always was the legend of the Levittown hoops community, so he uses that in that sense. He always says, "I could coach lacrosse."
He was the only guy to play pickup in 501 jeans
You're right. He ain't lying, man. But
and
this book you
low
had
top Chuck
before.
Taylors.
He probably
Yeah.
was supposed to be working somewhere and he just disappeared and went to play basketball,
But Vin,
Probably was
Here,
on the clock somewhere.
If I would have had the gene, I didn't get my. I'm the only one that didn't get my father's gene, the Chaminade gene. Oh my God, how did it happen? Couldn't pass a test.
so
Couldn't pass a test.
Smalley would show up. Smalley was like the Levittown Gary Payton, the glove.
Yeah,
You didn't want him guarding you because he could jump over the basket. He was not much of a shooter, but he could rebound. He was a D and no three.
could
Uh,
he make a left player?
player.
Could he use his left hand?
Not much of a left hand. He might have had he might have had like one of those big brushes in the back of his jeans,
yeah, yeah.
so he get the hair, right. But like he was not the guy you wanted guarding you. Like when Smalley, when you were like you had 9 guys or you had 5 guys you're gonna play 3-on-3. Here comes Smalley. He might have been walking around town with a dog, just randomly, and had no shirt on, full jeans,
Oh my God.
low top Chuck Taylors. You're like, Smalley, you want to run? And it would be like, man, please don't let that guy guard me because he could just, he was an athlete.
Gerry, you had to see up in Lake Placid. There were people coming up to him asking if they could get pictures with him. You had to see it.
Gerry, I missed you, man. I'm like, I came to see my guy. I came. He said you kept telling me he's going to be up there. That's why and I like Tillman. I like all the boys seeing him. I said, my guy. I kept looking. I go to the field. I wanted to see somebody from Levittown. I said, where is he? And then they told me, oh, he's not going to make it. They set me up. These guys. Oh, they're great for killing me. Don't worry. These guys don't give me 1 inch in life. Nothing.
So he's walking through the vendor village, and he's like, Vinny, do you have to walk in front of him like security?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I saw the people going. That's the guy.
What a nice place, though, to go. Really, it's God's country. What a place! It really is special.
We used to call that the Irish Alps up there.
Yeah.
In the summer, going up to the Catskills and the Adirondacks. My dad's like, we're going to the Alps, the Irish Alps.
We're
going up there.
I was on vacation from Levittown. If you got there, you were, man. My brother said hello. I told him I was going to be on with you. My brother said hello.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, Gerry, what year did you graduate high school?
1982.
82. Okay.
And
so Freeport, when we talked about summer league a little bit, and every guy's cutting their teeth and so Freeport was just about ending then, I think, right? There wasn't too many years left of Freeport.
Freeport was like Saturday or Sunday, and then
Caniac
was like Tuesday, Wednesday, or something like that. So they were kind of
dominated. They dominated Freeport, Vinny.
They were rival leagues, and we were just with. Tim Scher was just up visiting, and he and his wife, his twin girls and my daughter are like best friends. And
that's nice.
His twin daughters were in my daughter's wedding, maids of honor for her weddings. My brother Steve and I were busting Tim's chops because one year in Freeport, the Yorktown All-Star team came down because they wanted to play in the Freeport League. And they came down with, all the Yorktown legends, the Nelson brothers, etc. And I think, between what the community pub did and what, Spit and Uncle Sam's did to them, I don't think they ever came back. This is LI, man. This is LI.
That's right.
You can't, don't come down to our summer league.
Were the Page
I remember one year, Ward Melville was pretty dominant. It was when they were in their run winning Long Island championships and all the great players they had. And they were in the A division. We were in it also. We were a Port Washington team, basically. And we were in that top tier. And used to play like 5 regular season games. They didn't win a game. They were 0-5 and lost like every game in overtime. That's how tough those games were. I mean, it was so competitive. So many of those games went to overtime, weekend after weekend. It was amazing.
No,
there were guys, I think, John Phillips and Tom Flatley really ran that league, over there. And then, like you said, there were a lot of guys who worked on weekends. There were guys who wanted to go out to the Hamptons on the weekends. So you never knew what you were going to get sometimes week to week until it came serious with playoffs and stuff.
But the cool thing was that it was just brothers. Like every team had older and younger brothers on it.
Right.
Like every team. Yeah. Which was like, so our team, we had the Espositos, we had the Rogers, we had the Byrnes, we had the Cooks, we had the Allen brothers, we had the Hall brothers. So we just it was just like.
How about the Page? The Pages.
Page, Tex may have played. I don't know if Mike was playing, but Tex, Bobby Page probably played. And so it was just like, like our generation, our parents had kids in the same rhythm.
Yeah.
So like, to be able to play
twins,
with these brothers,
it was like 2 sets of Irish twins. He's right. That's the way it was.
So that was so Eddie Cook, as an example, my brother Steven and Bobby and Kevin Cook were overlapped. Eddie was my friend, was my year, Todd Esposito and Sonny Esposito. So it was just hysterical. It was fun developing the pride in your town and your team, but you played against these other teams that all had brothers on them too, which was
Yeah.
tremendous.
No, that league was, it's funny. Dom Stasia wrote an article, I think, for U.S. Lacrosse or something, and he talked quite a bit about the Freeport League, talking about, any weekend. I remember when I was still in high school and I had heard about it, and I went down to watch, and there was a team, Phil Marino owned a bar called the Hawk's Nest, and they had a team. There was Bill's Meadowbrook team, and then there was the Hawk's Nest. Those teams were more like they had a certain group of guys, like might have been heavily populated with Massapequa guys, but they also pulled in other guys, stars, and those teams were just loaded. And to go as a high school kid and watch and be able to just be right there on the sideline and watch those guys play, it was amazing. Those games were some of the best games around. It was really,
Hey,
really.
Coach, I got something for the Ivy League tournament this year. Is it going to be at Princeton? Am I crazy? Somebody, I thought maybe.
No, the whoever wins the regular season gets to host.
Oh, it's at Cornell.
Well, they don't.
No,
Whoever
the
wins
regular
next
season.
year when they do it, whoever's in first place after all the regular season games gets to host. So it could be anybody.
Oh, for the whole season or just when they play each other?
Well, during the season, they play
Okay.
the Ivy League schedule, and whoever has the best record or wins the Ivy League then hosts the tournament.
Because Gerry, we'd like to come up with at least one game. We haven't supported. We got everywhere else, but we haven't seen our dear friend. I mean, he probably feels bad. Come on, Benny, you got to put this thing together. It's
We'll
a
go
try.
to the Harvard Cornell or one of those games.
Oh, we got Syracuse. I think we host Princeton here. We host Syracuse here.
Good games.
We host. I don't know. We got some good games this year.
Gerry, you told me last year. I'm sorry, Benny. One thing is kind of funny. Last year we had a big dinner. I was able to get a dinner last year. It was around the igloo time, and the guy that
What are
loves
you
you
talking
too.
about, Smalley? What do you got? Memory lapse?
No, but hold on. I'm bringing out a point. Excuse me.
Okay.
My point, I sat at the table while everybody was laughing at me, and I'm glad I had everybody laughing. I said to Gerry, who's going to be in the Final Four? And I got all the guys at the table. I got the Navy guy.
Right.
I got the Hopkins guy. I got Tillman at the table. And nobody really wanted to talk. And Gerry came out, and you know what he said? I'll never forget what he said.
He nailed it.
He said Syracuse.
Yeah.
He didn't pick another team. Now that I'm thinking, he played Syracuse this year and lost to him.
Right.
And they wound up going to the Final Four. That's funny. Not everybody wanted to pick around the table, You're asking the Navy coach and everybody. But that was very ironic that you picked them. I couldn't believe it. I'm not going to ask you to pick them again.
Listen, that's prophetic. He knew they were going to be good.
No, you said they were going to. Do you remember saying that or not really?
Yeah, I do. I do.
Yeah, that was some pick. Yeah,
I took some heat for that. I said
You
it
weren't
after we
keeping
beat
it at
them.
the
I
time.
said it after we beat them too, and I took a lot of heat for that.
You took it.
It was just strange that you had beaten them, and then you got to play them again there.
Yeah,
That's
they
like a weird
usually
schedule.
They usually don't like rematches in
Right.
the first round, and so we thought we might play Duke or Penn State, but we really didn't care, and I was very confident that all the metrics pointed toward us. There was a lot of other teams that people wanted in, but just because you want them in because you're their fan or you like their team or their coaches doesn't change the fact that from a metric standpoint, it wasn't even close. So I don't even know if we were the last team in. I don't think that's true.
I don't think it's true, but I do think you're a force to be reckoned with for sure. And now hosting the PLL games and Harvard's on the map. They're back.
And we know all the coaches.
They're talking about them.
It's amazing, man, how many coaches that we know, all your ages.
Did they have a Cannons reunion up there?
They did. It was super cool. It was fun. Listen, the PLL, I'm not shilling for them. People who know me know I have no filter, but they, after 2 years of watching them put on this event here, it's really impressive. It's super professional. It's it's like a concert showing up. They start setting up on Monday for a Friday event. signage, their staff is all like 25 to 35-year-old young, hungry people. It's super impressive. And it was the Cannons homecoming game because each team gets to host one game. And then they did a 25th anniversary thing for the Cannons, and probably 100 guys showed up.
Oh, 100 guys?
Yeah, it was they had a reception, food and drink for everybody on this balcony that overlooks the football stadium at Harvard. And
Nice.
so
That
it
was
was
nice.
really well done. They had probably 9,000 people for the Friday night game, so it was
Wow.
super successful. It's just really impressive. I think we should all hope for the success of that league because of the product
Yeah.
is great, the organization is super impressive, and they don't leave any detail unturned.
The athletes are super fast. I will tell you. I'm so more impressed in the last few years watching these guys, more of the pros as I got to, with Steven and them with gambling, not gambling, with betting on the game, see who's going to win. They're all good. 1 through 10.
Betting is
Yeah.
We don't bet. We don't bet.
No, we
just
have to
pick
say
'em.
that. No,
just pick 'em.
we don't gamble online because people were taking our information.
We're
We-
just picking the games.
We're picking the games with the point spread because a lot of kids do, and
What's
some kids.
interesting about those pro games are, like, literally every game comes down to like a goal.
no,
It's
no.
a goal and a half. That's why it's 1.5 on most games, Gerry. Most games is only 1.5 spread. That's it.
Which is funny because, to be honest, I know we play when the MLL started and we played, we didn't have all 1-goal games. Like we were beating, we were thumping some teams sometimes. Like I remember us being in some tight games, but they weren't all 1-goal games.
I don't want to pick on you guys. Are great from years ago. You guys get blown out every game if you guys will play with these guys
Well,
today.
That's
They're so
great
fast
topic.
today. The
We're on
training.
this small topic of bashing.
You guys get crushed. I love the old guys, but they get hammered.
I have something on this for
These
small.
kids today are so fast.
I have
Forget it.
something this for. First of all, they're fast and they're athletic. But,
No, it's to
but-
watch a
but
game
they were-
now. It's
but There
unbelievable.
were fast guys and there were athletic guys.
No doubt, 1 through 5. I don't
The
say that.
difference. Why I'd say it's really wouldn't be that much different. I'm going to tell you why. You're going to like this, Smalls. The equipment is the biggest difference, right? The equipment has changed the game. But even in Placid, watching older guys play, myself included, I'm doing things now that I clearly couldn't do 25, 30 years ago just from the equipment perspective, but the equipment allows you to do it. So when you say that things of what the guys do today, we weren't capable of doing them, 25 years ago. The shot,
Even it's 5 through 10, though. I agree.
no,
The same 5 guys.
I'll give you an example. Shooting from your feet and being able to accurately put it up high is something that was very difficult 25 years ago with the sticks you use. I would prove it by saying, let one of these guys right now play with one of those sticks and let's see if he could do those things. Conversely, I see older guys doing it now. So the equipment changes.
I agree with what you're saying. Everything you said is agreed. My only point to you today is 1 through 5 always going to be great. The gates, but now you got 5 through 10 players. Number 5, 6, they're so good. They're so close to the first team. I just think it's not even close. They're so athletic, every single guy.
I'll push back on you on that one too. Yes, skill-wise, but when you get to the pro levels, if you're going 25, 30 years ago, even, MLL or in club, all the top teams had all the top guys. So I don't really think that, maybe if you went to other teams, there was a major drop off. But if you look at the Lizards team, I don't think there's a thing to say, well, the 23rd guy on the Lizards, he was still probably a 2 or 3.
So you don't think a Brennan O'Neill could star back in the day?
I think he
as
would.
he does.
I think he would be great. But I equally think a lot of guys that were playing back then would still be great with all this new equipment.
Well, they would. I'm not disagreeing 1 through 5, but today
is the other thing about the 1 through 5 is the guys who were great, besides their physical ability and being able to do it, they did it because they knew how to play. If you know how to play, you're going to be great no matter what the generation is going to be. When you know how to play, you stick.
Who's better, Gerry, this generation or the old timers? Come on. You're coaching now. Give it up for the new guys.
Well, the new
These
guy,
guys
the game
are thrown out,
advances.
Gerry.
The
Come
game, the
on.
game advances. I'm just saying, if
But you're right, Steve. A
Jim
lot of
Brown
good
was
points
born
you have.
today, he'd be an unbelievable lacrosse player if he chose to play lacrosse.
I never thought it would get to this level of pro. I didn't think it would be that much talent today, as all these guys can play. The second line, the third. They're so fast when you really get to know it and watch it. I'm very impressed. I'm more impressed now than I've been in the last few years because I've been watching it more. It's impressive. These guys are legit.
But Smalley, could they run the Nassau Community College mile
Right.
in
Five on
pro kids, full jeans and no shirt and break the
five.
record?
Thank you, Jack. Thank
Could
you.
they do that? I don't know if they could do that.
What did you do to Mylan?
5:05.
Okay, I'll tell you right now, I bet right now there's not one guy in the PLL right now that could run a 5:05 mile.
Yes, they
No
could.
chance. No,
This is about 4 dozen kids.
No chance.
Oh, absolutely.
zero
Hands
chance.
down.
I put a challenge out to any PLL guy who wants to do it on film right now and can break a 5:05
I'll put up
mile.
$2,500.
Oh,
I'll put up $2,500 right now for any kid to a charity, to somebody in the PAL that can break a 5:05. It's got to happen.
no chance.
Are you crazy?
I'm saying that there's probably. I'm saying there's probably 20 guys who could do it.
Yeah.
In the
20
PLL?
That's a lot. 20 guys.
Yes.
That's a lot.
I don't think there's one.
Vinny's good at it. Some guy came on
I don't
and
So-
told Steve to form it.
Smalls, are you doing 20 guys for 25 each or the first guy?
Well, it depends what you want to do, Jeff. If you want to put me out there, I can do that too.
Hey, we're under assault by the government, so I got no money.
That's the safest money Smalley will ever have. He'll never have to go for that because there's no guy.
5:05 is
So
pretty tough.
I think this could.
Gerry, kick back on him. Kick back on Steven.
This guy, I'm telling you, this could blow up your guy's pot. $2,500 bounty to the first PLL guy with a provable 5.
Mile.
We want
Well,
to
also,
see it.
hold on. I had to go back a little. It was an indoor mile. And it was a lot of times around the track. The more times you run, the time is less. So maybe
And in jeans.
Do they,
And
do
you
they
gotta
have to
do it in
run in
jeans.
your Lee jeans and
And
pro
you gotta do
kids?
it
Yes.
in jeans.
I shaved too. I had a razor. I shaved. That was the only way I was going to make the team if I won the mile. I was dying.
First of all, that 5:05 is not verifiable.
Now, here we go. I know it. Here he comes in.
He also had a
There's
friend of
fucking
mine.
box, Gerry.
He brought a
It's all
friend to
coming.
dinner one night from Uniondale who was telling me he did the mile in 4 minutes one night. And the guy
Well,
was
some guy did say it, Gerry.
I started
4
calling
minutes.
him Jim Ryan. I said,
Was his name Roger Bannister?
Yeah, that
No,
was him.
Bone Crusher. This guy, Bone Crusher.
Yeah,
I go in
Bone
4
Crusher
minute
said I
miles.
did
The
4
world.
minutes.
The world. Well,
So
Dougie
when
knows.
Smalley tells you time and all of that, I
Listen,
don't know. It's
How are
very
you new to
suspect.
time? Hey, Steven, back me up a little bit, Steven. You heard 2 different times. Come on.
All I'll say is this, and
Yeah, we heard it
it's
from
on
you.
it's on the record. The time has been established as 5:05.
5:05. We'll use 5:05 as the
The
barometer.
bet that's out there is that not one PLL player could beat a 5:05. I cannot.
I disagree.
Okay. Let's put that out there.
But I got $2,500 check to a charity. It's legal.
Okay. Smalls, who from Levittown was on the team at Nassau when you were there? Because we could get was Sully on the team when you were there?
That's how they did the team. No, you had who was on the team?
Romano?
Jeff
Romano?
Thompson, Jeff Thompson,
Romano, Gansey,
Jeff Thompson, McCormick.
McCormick. Yeah. That's the only way I was going to make the team. And he wanted to cut me. He told Dougie,
Gerry said from Levittown. Who was
we
on
can't
the team.
keep him, he said. Because there was 100 guys. They cut 62 guys. There were guys that got cut that went on to be All-Americans. And the parents wanted to kill Speckman. Oh, they wanted to kill Speckman.
But
I
you,
don't-
but you were the X factor. You were the X factor.
No, I
Like,
went.
does Harvard have a
Let's go to Greg Canella.
Smalley?
You know a guy
that
named
gets
Greg
involved?
Canella?
What's that?
Does Harvard?
You know a
have
guy
Smalley?
named Greg Canella?
Guy that
Canella, he
gets
was my
involved?
roommate. We had the same locker together. Greg Canella knows. Anyway.
So
Thank you.
Canella might be able to verify the.
Oh, I love
5:05.
Canella. He took me on the field one game after they came at Nassau. He was what a great person. He was great. Jeff Dumpson, an athlete. I mean, you can't throw him under the bus. What type of athlete was he?
A great athlete.
Stephen, he was from your town. You talk about great
I don't know if
athletes.
he could have run a 5:05 mile. Clearly, he didn't because you won the mile.
Crazy. I agree with Birdsey. They're a little. See the old school? You know how many guys can do it? How do I post that? Do I call Seth Tierney?
No, we're gonna do
it. I got to get on the phone with Seth.
Jerry,
I've helped him too.
Does Harvard have a guy? Does Harvard have a Smallie on the bench somewhere that gets the
yes.
going?
I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of our fastest mile time. We might have had a couple of guys in that range, but
everybody's under 6. It's slow. If you do a 6-minute mile, you're slow.
So you guys need to throw this out there on your socials. $2,500 bounty.
Yeah,
bounty.
Is that legality? I mean, a bounty is something.
Legality.
Well, he limited it. He limited it to PLL players.
Current
PLL players.
I want the PLL guys.
Wait, let me hear what you're saying right now. I believe there's at least 10 or more. How many you say, Vinny? How many people could do it in the
PLL rosters? Go ahead.
505. No, I would be surprised if more than 1 or 2 per team. So let's say 10 guys tops. But I don't think so.
I said 10. What do you say, Steven?
I think.
Now,
I think
here's a question. Do you have to wear Smalley's jean jacket from the early 80s?
You're right. The jean jacket.
And you have to do the mile on the turnpike. You got to do it on. You got to run from Uncle Sam's to Nassau Community College.
Yeah, I did that from the bus stop.
Or to the Wantor Park.
Right on the Hempstead Turnpike.
I got stolen. Jimmy Force.
Jimmy Foss.
It's John Tillman. John, you're on hold today. I'm talking to somebody.
A mile run, yeah, you got to run on Hempstead Turnpike, and people are allowed to throw things at you at the same time. So I think this could be, you should pick this charity.
Yeah.
Smalls.
Hey, Gerry, I would like to start a charity one day. We were thinking about it. If you ever come up with something, it'd be great. No, I'd like to, I'd like to think it's probably more, maybe 50 guys in the league. How many guys in the PLL? Over 100, would you say, total?
160 maybe?
Oh, 160. Oh, I would say this guy.
I think it's probably around somewhere between 10 and 20.
Really? I think it's over 20.
You got some military guys, you got some dudes.
But they're all in shape though. These guys, it's a different shape today.
This is not New York Saints at the Marriott.
I agree.
In 1992, where the Sobrano brothers had a room on reservation every post game.
I still go on record that I'm at 0 there.
Well, I want to give a little breaking news as
Go ahead.
We're slowing down here. Gerry, I just want to tell you, we love you and everything. This is going to go big with you. You're a class act from the town. We're so happy that you made it and you graduate. Everybody pulls for you. I never heard a guy say anything bad about you, ever. And Levittown kills everybody. Never heard a bad word about Gerry, so we're rooting for you. But the biggest story, I'm going to say this and only I can say it. Get ready because the best is to come for you. You will be in the Final Four in the next few years. And better than that, I give you a guarantee because I'm sitting on the board. You will be coaching the USA team with my dear friend John Tillman in 4 years. I guarantee that. Because I am pulling for that. And all you D1 coaches, because they all listen. They listen to this act. You're definitely going to be on it. If I got to pull some strings, I'll pull it. And you're going to be on it because you deserve it. Your history, your game, and all the coaching. Now you're at Harvard. Seriously, you're amazing, man. Amazing young guy. And I'm really going to pull for you for that. So that's the breaking news. You and John Tillman in 4 years from now, or is it less than 4? What is it, every 2 years?
It's 4 years, but when is the next one?
Yeah. So all that good news.
I want to give a shout out to whoever has to edit this. That person is the genius of the 3 Guys in a Game podcast system.
Do you and Vinny do something special? You and Vinny, you haven't said much. He doesn't. Vinny's hair. He didn't get his hair cut today. He lost the barber. His barber passed away, or what happened to him? He's got the wrong hair.
No,
Look at him.
he's
It ain't
back
the
in
same
action. He's
haircut.
back in action.
Oh, he's back?
He's back. He's back.
When are we
He's
going
coming
down?
back.
I want him and Vinny, him and those guys to talk. When are we coming down, Vinny? Talk to your dear friend. What game are we going to go
Where we
down?
going?
Up.
Yeah,
Harvard?
exactly.
Up to Harvard.
Harvard's not
So-
down. Harvard is up.
You guys need to come up and then do a live 3 guys in a game podcast from the office.
Yes, that.
And
That'd be
again-
great.
Remote, live pregame.
Harvard? You don't want us in Harvard, Gerry. Come on.
Smalley at Harvard. That's like it's almost like that Joe Pesci movie when he.
Oh, I would have been at
It's a
Harvard.
Joe Pesci movie. He's
My
the
father's
the
gene, I'd be
classmate.
first team All-American playing for Gerry at Harvard if I had that damn gene. I'm the only one that didn't get the gene.
Here's a plan B. We're playing Marquette at Chaminade this year.
Wow.
Oh, that's even better.
Wow.
Oh, my God. What date is that, yeah?
I don't know, I think it's early March, maybe.
Love
That's
that.
great.
So here's what we'll do. You guys can do a remote pod from the hotel we're staying at.
Oh, that's
Nice.
terrific.
Gerry, you
That'd
need to be
great.
taking. I'll take the team out to dinner.
We'll get
Does
some
he want to go to
players on.
Vincent's?
We can
On
go to
the podcast.
Vincent's. We can go to Vincent's.
This is
Hold on. Let me. I'll get the date to you guys.
We'll get the date. But that's good. They see.
You'll be there for 2 or 4 days. Are you in town for 4 days?
No, we're not going to be in town for 4 days. We got to go to class.
Oh, 1 day, or you're in 2 days. You're not staying over. You're driving and going
No,
back.
we'll stay over. We'll
1
stay
day.
over.
Okay. So it's
Let
one
me
day.
get the date to you. Hold on a sec.
1 day trip.
Pulling it up here. Hold on a sec.
Vinny Sombrado, you're the king, bro. What do you got?
When are we getting the Smalley games? See, these are good. I like these remote games. These are good games.
No, I like that they're driving up.
Marquette's going to be the 20.
So the 26th of March. What's again?
That's
3
good.
o'clock.
26th of February. Excuse me.
It's a 3 o'clock game, right?
Wow, that's
I
early.
don't know what the time is.
Early season game.
Of February.
It's going to be packed out. I mean, I guarantee that's going to be packed out.
Packed out. You won't even have enough stands. You're gonna have to bring
Exactly.
the other
No.
side. They might be able to do
Hildebrand's,
something.
you're going to have to reserve a table way in advance at Hildebrand's.
And we get the team out. I got to tell Bobby Marisi for.
Where
I
was
will organize
your,
this.
speaking of delis and food, where was your go-to place, Gerry, when you were in Levittown?
Man, it's not rest in peace, Division Avenue Deli.
Yeah.
Division Avenue Deli. We used to deliver the ice there.
Remember that?
Right?
Yeah.
Right at the corner of Hempstead Turnpike and Division Avenue, right next to
That was a go-to.
And then, the Coliseum Deli, which I think is not the Coliseum Deli anymore, by Hofstra.
Torino's for the roast
There
beef
was
heroes.
Gerry,
and
there
then the
was
Torino's.
Gardner's Avenue Deli too.
Gardner's Avenue. We used to go to Gardner's Avenue after CYO basketball games. They had my dad and the other coaches would be drinking at the bar, and it had like the frosted glass that separated. So the kids
Crazy.
would be murdering pizza on one side, and our parents were bending the elbow on the other side because the kids couldn't go into the bar area. So you had to stay over there. They gave us a handful of quarters to play, shuffle bowling or pinball, and your parents would be
Gardner's
drinking.
Avenue.
You
They'd
could
be
see them
smoking
through
cigarettes
you could see
too.
them through the frosted glass.
You could smoke back in the day. They'd be smoking at the table while they're eating.
Exactly.
With the ashtray.
Exactly. That was extra parm, the ashes on your pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Give a little more flavor.
Exactly.
Oh my God, what
All
else
right.
we got
We got our
here?
shout outs. What do we got? What do you got, Smalls, this week for your shout out?
I got to give a shout out to my mom and dad. My mom, I saw her the other day. I bought her some food. She's going to be 92 years old. My dad had passed away. I always sing a song. I can't sing good, different songs that she likes, but without them, I don't know where I'd be. To have parents like that in life, nothing more I could ask for in life than the great family I have, and I'm so blessed. Friends like you guys, all you guys, what you're doing to bring me into your big events here, to meet Vinny 5 years ago and come back and see him at one of the restaurants. He's like, is that Smalley? And just to meet, I love these guys. I don't agree much with Vinny and Steven, but that's fine. I still consider them great friends, and they're truly one of a kind. And you guys, it's amazing, amazing run. So my mom and dad.
What do you
That's
got,
it.
Ben? What do you got as your shout out?
Well, I'm going to stick with the Smalley theme and go with my shout out is to George Smalley, Captain Protein, down in Florida.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
MMA training at 68 years old. He's out there
Yeah.
every day. He's hitting the surf. He's training in a pool with weights underwater. Forget it. The guy's like a demolition man. You think Smalley, he faded away years ago.
No,
G
I'm
has
done.
not stopped. G is going strong. So he's got his little business down there, cooks right out of his kitchen, packages up the best cookies you could ever get, loaded with, what are they? Protein in them, protein powder,
cookies.
whatever he does. But Mr. G,
He's in
his
Boca.
life has been about fitness. So I'm giving a shout out to Mr. G.
You, Gerry.
I got a shout out to my wife, Dr. Tracy Byrne. She's just a total rock star. She
Yeah.
teaches, the next generation of OBGYNs at Harvard Medical School, and
That's awesome.
just a total
That is awesome.
rock star. She's from all of our same backgrounds. She doesn't come from, parents weren't college grads, and just, I wouldn't be able to do this
Right.
I wouldn't be able to pursue this without her.
You have 3 kids, Gerald, 4?
I have 3 kids.
Amazing. Oh, man, it's unbelievable. Yeah. Stephen has 3. He's got a wonderful little daughter, man. Yeah.
My shout out's going to go to the Harvard guy. I'm going to shout out to Jack Spidell and the Team USA and the under 20, and wish them luck in finishing it off. They got off to a great start. The tight game with Canada, much like many of all the world games, it looks like it'll come down to a battle between Canada and US, and hopefully they can take that down.
Yeah.
So the stars of the future are there doing it,
Yeah.
and a lot of great lacrosse. From what I've seen, different clips and things, there's a lot of great lacrosse being played. Wish them luck, safe travels back. And then, again, I want to thank Gerry. Always love having you.
Yeah, the new Chaminade coach. I want to plug him.
Go
You know, the
ahead.
new coach, yeah.
Go ahead.
Right.
Go ahead, Smalls.
Thomas O'Connell, and the other young man is he
Greg
moved
K.
up the slot for Chaminade. And you'll be meeting. Are you coming to the dinner this year? I think you might. They tried to call you. Mikey Ferrone was trying to get in touch with you. I don't know if you're able to do it.
In January?
I think the one, anyone you can do. They tried.
In November.
No, he's talking about when we do the igloo thing, when we all came.
Oh, yeah. No, in November.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
He had you on the list.
If I'm on Long Island, I'll be there.
Okay, yeah. So we'll do the same. All right, cool.
Love it. All right. So again, thanks again, Gerry, for coming on.
Thanks for your time, Jerry.
We'll see
Appreciate
you. We'll
it.
see you on our travels, and for everyone else, we'll be back. We got, we're hitting our stride here. We're going to have a number of episodes for you over the rest of the fall. Maybe some. Oh, look, he's got his signed hat.
No, John Tillman signed me a hat.
He did.
From Chaminade. I gave it to a bunch of people from Chaminade.
And he ended
I
it.
thought that was cool.
More.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right, guys. I love you, man. You guys are the goats.
We just.
All right, wrap it up, Stephen. Take care, Jerry.
See you guys.
Thank you,
Powered
man.
by
Make
Riverside.
sure it
Guys.
downloads. Make sure it downloads. Stay on, Smalls.